All right, Dorian, let's go ahead and educate the listeners about what exactly a business is. Because what I want to know is what most people think it is and what it actually is.
Oh my God, that is uh, an interesting question. What people think it is, or what I've noticed that people think it is just a way to get get freedom and also get like if you have a 9 to 5, like, well, I mean, I'm really good at I don't know. I do carpentry, right? Like
Mm,
I'm a really good carpenter. I'm a technician. I'm really good at this.
yeah.
I bet I can do a business out of this.
Mm,
And then you quit your job and then you start your business and then you realize that it's more than just being good at creating or crafting or like whatever it is you're good at. If I'm a carpenter, well, I mean, I know how to build a table. I know how to build a chair, but then I don't know how to create the first dollar or get my first client
mm,
or remove myself from the business. Now I'm working for, like, now I have another job. Basically, I bought myself another job
mhm.
by doing this. And I think um, that is one of the things that people have this conception of, or this understanding of, like this business is gonna give me the freedom, but not understanding all the details about the business. So yeah.
Okay, great point. Now, let's say you're the carpenter.
Hmm.
Okay. I want anybody listening to imagine themselves as the carpenter in this story, whether you either own a business or if you don't own a business. And the reason you want to listen closely to Dorian here is because this is what he does for a living. He is a consultant, a business consultant. His track record is a laundry list of successes. So let's dive into that. Let's pretend you're the contractor and you want to start a business.
Mm.
What do you even do on day one?
Right.
What do you do? What's most important? Where do you start?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think as a business, when you start the business, you like one of the first things you get to understand is that the what gives life to the business is the revenue, is the sales. Like that is the most important thing on the business.
Mm.
So how does your business create revenue, right? So that is the first thing. It's not so much about the product or the service that you offer, is how do you attract people to buy from you? And I think that is one of the main things. Marketing and sales, those are the biggest
So,
things.
so you've got the skill set locked in, right? You've been a contractor for so long. You can build a house. You can do all these things. Now it's time to sell yourself. Let me just preface this. Grant Cardone's book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. He says it so eloquently. We are always selling all the time, selling our character to people, selling ideas to people. Every day we're selling countless times a day. So, no shame in selling. Time to sell your product. What do you do?
Okay, great. So you start um by creating a strategy on how to like get in front of people. So marketing basically. So you attract the people, marketing. And then with sales, you sell your product. So, but you need to first have visibility. Like people need to see you. So, what is that? Like social media? Is that the newspapers? Is that the TV, the radio, smoke signals? I don't know. Just like think about the best way that fits your business that you can be in front of people so people know what you do. And Grant Cardone says this as well. Like if nobody knows you, like what good is it for people, you know?
So here's exactly where we're going to go today for this segment.
Okay.
Okay. We are going to nail this. Let's talk specifically about marketing to get people to know you. That'll be our first topic in the series. So what I want to know is, you said you've got to create something that gets people to know you to attract the right people. Well, let's go into a deep dive down that tunnel, shall we?
Sure.
Okay, you're a contractor.
Mhm.
Let's start marketing.
Okay.
How do we do it?
Okay. Great. So you gotta understand like the different ways that you can market. You have, I mean, again, I mentioned it before, like newspaper, flyers, social media, Google,
What if
paid
you don't have it? What if
ads.
you don't have a dime to your name?
Correct. So that is very interesting that like you bring that up. So I think going back to the business, not understanding the business, a lot of the people limit the business with their own limitations. So as a human beings, we have a lot of limitations, but the business, it's unlimited. Like you have access to a lot of things as long as you do things properly.
Well, we don't know what properly is, so we
Correct.
got to start somewhere.
Okay. So one of the things that I tell my clients is to go and think about what is the best case scenario of your business, right? So you're a carpenter, contractor, whatever it is. How does that look like when you're like, the best version of the business? We're selling like a couple $1 million a year. We have like 10,000 clients. We're selling like whatever. How does that look like, right? So you have that as the main picture in your head. And then you start building on paper how that looks like. Start building the financial models, start looking the profit projections, pro formas, and stuff like that.
Now we're getting a little ahead here.
Correct.
Because a lot of people don't even know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So let's stick to the marketing.
Okay.
You don't have a dime to your name.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Right. So you need to either credit lines, raise money for the business, have an equity partner that upfronts the money. So you need to look for money. If you don't have funds, you need to look for funds.
What are the top 3 ways to get funds?
Equity,
Okay.
debt, and that's equity and debt.
Okay.
So either through partners, banks, lenders, investors.
Okay. So you got a little capital now, right? And you now decide it's time to market to get people to build their houses, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do now?
Yeah, I would say this. You need to hire experts as soon as possible. Like as soon as possible, you need to hire experts because your expertise is to build a house. It's not marketing. And you can learn about marketing and it's amazing, and you can learn about finances and it's great, about operations, and it's awesome. Like I strongly recommend that, and hire experts.
So you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, hire a marketing expert.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's somebody's salary.
Yep.
And so you're telling me get somebody else's money, aka debt or equity through a partner or whatever, then hire the marketing expert. What if you're scared?
Now we get into the mindset, and like I've heard someone say that creating business is like one of the best ways to break through all the limiting beliefs that we have as human beings. So I think it's accurate because you're gonna face these different challenges and different moments of the business where you get to make decisions, and you get to break through these fears and these limitations that you have, because it's gonna be like, well, I mean, if you grew up with scarcity and stuff like that, it's gonna come up. I don't have the money to do that, and if I spend this money, that this is all I have, and you start facing all these different things that for the purpose of creating a business, it's not supportive.
So your business grows as much as you do.
Correct. That is accurate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say somebody decided not to get the equity partner, because I know this to be true. You can market, quote unquote, for free. You can find clients for, quote unquote, free. It might take some of your time, low out of pocket cost, maybe print some papers at Kinko's. Okay. What are you doing with that time? Maximum effort if you're the contractor.
Yeah.
How you get in the biz?
Yeah, I think you touched you have a really good point there. Like, yes, you can start like marketing and do all these things with really low cost. It is possible, and it's thinking about what is the if it's efficient or not, if it's time efficient or not, because at the end of the day, like a business, it's all about speed. Like, I mean, if you look at Tesla, for instance, and you're going to be like, well, Tesla has a lot of money to do it. Yeah, a lot of companies have a lot of money to do it, and they don't have this speed that these big companies do. So it's all about speed and efficiency. So you can do it, and it's gonna take probably a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years to build that business to where you want it to be at. It's like, would it be more efficient if, like, I hire someone? I have these funds here. If I hire someone to start bringing the leads, to put myself, like, positioning myself in front of people, so people to know that this is what I do, and start generating that, like, visibility.
Now, what's the worst thing that can happen, though? Let's say you get the money, you put it into hiring people, and you realize that person hasn't been doing all the things. How do you have these checks and balances in place to make sure everything's operating the way it should operate?
Right.
How do you check yourself?
Yeah, and that's
without going broke.
Yeah, that's also the reason why, like, I mean, like, understanding, like, just get out of your expertise and learn other things too. Which, I mean, I said before, like, learning marketing, learning finances, learning operations, all that is crucial as a business owner, because if in order to grow your business, you need to hire these people and you need to understand what is it that they need to do. And if you don't know, I mean, of course, like, you're not going to hire, like, the right person. And this goes for your first hire too, if whatever it is that you need to hire.
So it begs the question, is the first step really to hire a marketing person, or is the first step to educate you on what you want in that person?
Yeah, the first thing.
Oh my gosh, we're peeling back the onion over here today.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, you need to know, in order, like, even before you start the business, you need to understand those things. Like, what is it that you offer? What is your product? Who's your client? And then like, educate yourself in the different part of the business, even if you're not going to be an expert in marketing or an expert in finance, but at least you understand these different things. So yeah, I mean, when it comes down to, like, having everything in place, yes, I mean, you already know marketing, you know what needs to be done, you know your product, you know your client, you know, like, what you're selling, you know your price point, you know all these different things. Then you hire someone to attract people. But if you attract people just for the sake of attracting people, well, you don't even know what you're selling. So yeah, I mean, there's, of course, like, there's steps before.
When you say of course, it might be obvious to someone like yourself that's a consultant. It might not be obvious to somebody that's listening to this podcast that literally thought about starting a business today.
Accurate.
And we need to help them.
Okay.
So let's start from scratch, shall we? You decide today that you want to own your own contracting business. Stop working for somebody else. Right? What do you really need to do?
Okay. The first thing that I would do, like, just knowing that I want to create my business and that I'm good at making tables.
Yeah.
The first thing that I would do is understand, like, what is the product that I have, product or service? Like, what am I selling? Like, I mean, and this may be more complicated for different industries than others, right? In this example is like, well, I mean, my product is a table. I sell tables. Pretty simple. Who's my client? Like, that's the next step to understanding, like, the demographic and psychographic of your client. Like, who is that person?
Yeah.
How old is
So what do you do with this information? Do you write it down somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you write everything.
Well, we need to stop saying of course, because we don't know that. We're
Yes.
fresh off
Got it.
the business bus.
So you write everything down. Like, you write your product as detailed as possible. So your product, what is it that I sell? What is it that I do?
Yeah.
Like, what is the problem that you're solving with that product or service? Like, just be as detailed as possible.
Yeah.
Like, okay, in your case, like,
I like that.
Yeah, you're
Detailed.
right. Detailed, like, everything. Like, how does your product or service solve a specific problem? And just write it down. And then you write down who has this problem. Who's the person that has this problem? Like, do they live? How old are they? Do they have kids? Are they single? Are they married? Are they, I don't know, what is the income that they have? What hobbies do they have? What they like to do?
Now, why do we need to know this?
Because you need to understand your client better than they understand themselves. So you can give the message of how you can solve their problem.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it's the psychographic and demographic. So where do they live and how do they think?
That's good.
So Those are the things. So you know the problem and you know your product and you know how your product or service solves in a specific, like the problem for these specific people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those would be, I would say those are the most important things. I mean, and probably before that is like, why are you creating a business, right? I mean, it's all about the why also.
Yeah.
So you start with the why, and then you start with the problem, the client, and so on and so forth.
Now, would you say that starting a business has to be bigger than, well, I just really like to build tables, or I really like to remodel homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I want to, and I don't want to work for someone else.
Right.
Is that too small of a reason?
I don't think there's such a thing as too small or too big or anything like that. I think that the purpose of creating a business, of course, is to feed your family. I mean, whoever says like they, I mean, of course, there's bigger stuff in the sense of like the impact and all that, but just the fact that create a business to create a lifestyle for yourself and your family, I think that's really good, you know? Like that's noble.
Yeah.
So, and as you get into the business, it's also like start seeing, why do you like to do this? Like get deeper into, why do you like to do this? Why do you like to build tables? Why do you like to sell real estate? Why do you like to cook? You know, like why is it that you have this passion about this specific topic? Why are you good at? Because then it starts the differentiation. Like, why should people buy from you instead of like John next door that also sells tables?
Right.
Oh, I mean, I'm passionate about these things because what is your story?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my dad and my grandfather and like all of them, they used to build these tables. And okay, now you have a story. You have a good, strong why and passion about what you're doing. So that is what, like, if I go and like a table is like, well, this guy, I know he's passionate. He's going to pour his soul into building whatever he's doing, instead of John that, I mean, I don't even know what he's doing, but he may be really good at it too.
Right.
But there's no compelling story. So that's why, like, as you move into the business and building and everything, understanding where you come from with that, why are you passionate about what you do? And that's going to create that differentiation and people like really buying from you.
Well, it's good. It's real good. Wow. So you've got your why. Okay. Why you're starting the business. And then it's day one. You're at your office. What do? You're standing there at your desk. Okay, now to do my business. You know, let's say, well, backtrack a little bit. You probably want to get your licenses. If you got that, you want to make sure you're legal and compliant and all that other stuff. That's great.
Yeah.
You know, a couple checks. That's fast, easy stuff. You're at your desk. Time to start it. What is it? What does it look like?
Yeah. So you understand already like why you're doing it. You understand what's the problem. What is the product that you're selling, product or service. You understand your client. So now it's time to put yourself in front of people. Now it's when you go to like, I mean, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, if you're in a budget or something, then you start like doing what is available for you. Like YouTube is for free. Instagram is for free. Facebook is for free. Like all these Facebook groups and stuff is for free. You have a lot of apps that are for free or really low cost. So you try to position yourself with all these resources available. If you're not willing to, or if you don't feel at the moment that getting a partner or getting debt, it's like the best thing for your business. I mean, you have a lot of resources are at low cost, but the most important thing is to get visibility. Like that's the first thing. However, is that you want to do it.
Get visibility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, how would you get visibility if you were a contractor that builds homes?
Yeah. So if I were to start and I didn't have any money, I definitely would go to Facebook groups. I'd definitely create my social media page and start posting stuff. I would get business cards and start going to networking events.
Yeah.
I would start talking to people.
Yeah.
Like,
and then when you talk to people, I'm going to fill in some gaps here just in case we don't cover it. You're going to want to collect their contact information and feed your database every day. Every day you fill it up. It's a machine and it's hungry.
Yep.
Okay, so you're networking for free. Facebook, events, etc. right? Forums. Okay. And what about, let's say you start making some money. Where would you deploy your cash into the business
Right.
for leverage? I'm pretty sure, because of what we were talking about earlier, it would be into marketing.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. That is one of the, again, like, few mistakes that people make at the beginning, which is like, well, I'm gonna put all this effort into get the attention from people, going to events and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and flyers and all the things. You're like doing all these things because you want to create that momentum, that revenue, and bring people and everything. And then you start hitting the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I'm making progress. So you start focusing, because you're like one man doing everything, right? At this moment, it's just you. It's like, okay, now I have the clients. Let me focus on giving the service to the client. Let me go and build a table, and then you forget about the marketing, and because now you're focusing on servicing the client, delivering the product, running operations, right?
So you need to automate the marketing.
You need to you get to build an engine, a marketing engine, something that runs on its own. How does that look like? Hiring someone, like have paid ads. It's like there's a ton of different ways to do it, and it's just looking at what is more convenient for where you are.
So what are some options? You said there's a ton.
Yeah,
what are some impactful options that actually are good?
Well,
for lack of a better term.
Like, first thing, when you start like getting momentum, it's like, where am I getting most of the revenue from?
Right.
Like, am I getting my revenue from networking? Am I getting my revenue from social media? Am I getting my revenue from Facebook groups, from apps, from Google? Like understanding where your revenue is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And then start focusing more on that one, right? If it's, let's say, social media, Instagram, because I've been posting and everything. I've been consistent posting and all that. So, okay, Instagram is giving me the most revenue, so focus on that. And then it's like, okay, now am I bringing the revenue and I need to focus on delivering the service? How can I automate this? How can I make it run on its own without me being here?
So what I'm hearing you say is essentially you want to cast the net wide to start.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to figure out, after you have refinement days, or you're working on your business and seeing what works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then whatever does work, you double down on that and maybe eliminate or reduce the efforts towards other avenues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's an iteration process, you know, like, just because at the beginning, let's say Facebook group didn't work, that doesn't mean it's not going to work. That means that something needs to be adjusted. So you start looking at all the different channels that you're marketing, and then you start looking at what is the message that you're sending on each of the groups. You know, you have a YouTube channel, you have Google ads, you have paid ads, you have Facebook groups. So why are these things not working? Is it my message that is not clear? Is it my value proposition that is not there? Is it that the people that I'm sending the message is not the people that I need?
Well, so let me ask you this: instead of hiring somebody full time to run your marketing for you, create the campaigns and all that other stuff, is there a possibility? Is there a thing such as doing consultations or getting somebody to look at it at a third person perspective that has the expertise?
Yeah,
to just say, hey, this is what you're doing. This is what I would suggest.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there are some people out there that do coaching on like how to run a business, on how to do marketing, how to do social media, how to do sales. Like, you have a lot of people out there nowadays. It is like there's an abundance of people that have expertise teaching business owners how to do things.
So let's talk about the pyramid then. The bottom of the pyramid, the most expensive, we'll call it the full-blown marketing firm, right? That's going to cost a chunk. And then you go up the pyramid to the smaller piece, and let's say it's a consultant that does kind of ad hoc meetings when you need them.
Yeah.
And then you can do probably a course, which is like maybe $150 to $1,000, whatever. And then free, you go on YouTube.
Right.
And learn.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you have all these different ways to to get good at different things or get the outcome that you're looking for. I mean, like you said, I mean, being 100%, it's like, okay, pay this marketing agency to run the whole thing, do the branding, do the website, do the content creation strategy, and how to deliver all this different, like how to deliver the message to the right people and all that. And you pay for that, and that's what you get. Of course, like you get to, in this process of vetting what is the best company for that. But then you go into like, okay, I mean, there's people that can do recommendations on how to do it, like consulting firms and coaches and other experts that are in the market for that. Like, you know, where you meet with them on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis. And it's like, okay, this is what I'm going through. And that expert is going to tell you like, well, I mean, this is what I would do. And then you take that advice from them and you implement it. Then of course, like learning from, like, take a course or take a lessons or classes or something on how to get better at marketing, and then do it yourself. YouTube also, it's a really good resource for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would strongly recommend, regardless whether you want to hire someone or not, I would strongly recommend to learn, to keep learning. As a business owner, you cannot stop learning. Like, you cannot be like, well, I mean, I hired this person, and yeah, I mean, it's yes, and you also need to understand these different things.
So let's go ahead and paint a picture of the full cycle. Okay, just talking about marketing specifically. You're a business owner. You start here and you end here in the most ideal of circumstances. Okay, like what does that whole cycle look like in your entrepreneurial journey? You're the business owner when it comes to marketing specifically. Let's just paint a recap of what we just discussed. Like 1, do this, 2, do that, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
So step 1, understand the why.
Yep.
Like, why are you doing what you're doing?
Yep.
Step 2, understand what is your product or service and what is the problem that is solving. Number 3, understand your client, demographics and psychographics. And then number 3, like when you start, number 4 is start hiring or start like implementing or start like putting yourself in front of people.
Implement the marketing campaign. And then number 5, review it.
Right. Yes.
Number 6, if I'm correct, once you review it, remove or reduce the things that aren't working as well, and double down on the things that are working.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
It's feedback loops. Yes.
Yeah.
So once you understand like what's working, of course, like keep implementing that, and like you said, double down. And the things that are not working, don't remove them. Is like, why is it not working?
Yeah.
Like, why is this not working? Why my YouTube videos are not working? Okay, maybe the message is not clear. Maybe the audience is not the right audience.
Right.
Maybe the pricing, maybe whatever it is, like you need to start looking into why is it not working, and then start correcting those things. Because yes, I mean, right now social media is working, but it may change in the future. So you want to have like different options, and you want to start working on all those options. So if I'm going and do networking events, okay, out of like 10 people that I talk on networking events, I only close 1 person. Why is that? Why not 2? Why not 3? Why not 4? What is it? Is it my message? Is it my product? Is it me that I need to work on the way I talk to people? Like, you start looking at those things and getting into like these feedback loops of why is it not working, and then start doing these iterations to improve those things that are not working. So you start getting everything at the good level, you know, and start getting more revenue and increasing your revenue by doing those things.
Yeah. Yeah. So that when you're in the networking events, you're working in the business. And then when you're reviewing the numbers, like how many contacts did you have? How many people did you close, etc., close with? Then that's working on the business. And I would say that it's safe to say when you're first starting off, you're going to be working in the business more so than on the business.
Yes.
And the goal overall is to remove yourself
as soon as possible.
Because then you are a true business.
As soon as possible. Yes. That is the goal. As soon as possible, remove yourself from the business and working on the business rather than in the business. So, and yeah, as soon as you can, so you can start leveraging that. Otherwise, like, it's like I mentioned before, you just got yourself another job. Like you're self-employed. You're working
Doing everything.
probably more than you used to work before,
Yeah.
and sometimes making less than you used to make. So
Yeah.
that's not the purpose. The purpose is to really generate and create that freedom and that financial freedom and that personal freedom.
So Dorian, we're hosting this series all about building the business from scratch. What can we expect for segment 2? If marketing is the first thing, getting yourself in front of people, what are we going to be talking about next time we release some content here for the folks? If marketing's 1, what's number 2?
Well, that's the there's this author that describes a business, and I really like the way he does it. His name is Donald Miller. He has written the book Business Made Simple and How to Grow Your Small Business. I really like the way he puts it. It's like a business is like a plane.
Yeah.
Right. So you have the cockpit, which is the leadership, the vision, and all that. Then you have the product or service, which is the wings. And then you have the engines, which is marketing, and sales are the engines. And then you have the cabin, which is the operations. And then you have the fuel, which is the cash flow. Like, I really love the way he explains that. That's
cool.
Just amazing.
You won't ever forget it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome the way he describes that. And yeah, like if you want your plane to take off, if you want your plane to stay in the air, you need to have your engines, which is marketing and sales.
Marketing and sales. So let's talk about sales next time, shall we?
Yes.
Folks, you heard it here first. Elite League Podcast with Mr. Dorian Aldava. Dorian, how do people get a hold of you for your consulting?
Yeah, it's my Instagram. It's Dorian.Aldava. Pretty simple. And just a direct number, 832-808-9165.
And we'll drop that down below in case you missed it.
Yes.
Dorian, thanks again for hopping on today. Holy smokes, we covered some ground. This was really helpful.
Appreciate it. Thanks
Truly.
for putting this together.
Yeah, you can tell you're an expert at what you do. Folks, if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe, and please, if you're on Spotify or any other podcast-specific platforms, give us a 5-star review. My name's Greg Carlson, your host. Till next time, everybody, stay fired up.
Stay fired up.